although she's having some bout of cold right now.
This weather is not given.
You desire a cup of coffee, hot one.
I don't like coffee, but okay.
Yeah, it's back past the PATRYK EDEKE on MEMORIES965 FM, your regular station, and it's another beautiful Tuesday morning where we shall be looking at some things that actually has a lot of connotations with society and how it works, even though we've tried as much as possible not to really look at it the way it should be looked at. But I have decided that some of these things must be unraveled so that people and society at large get to understand what's happening. Remember, this program is an interactive one, so you can call in while we are having fun and join the conversation when you dial the number 0803 085 7755. I'm going to take the number slowly so you can write it down. 0803 085 7755. Or alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on 0809 066 6909. This program is being streamed live on our Facebook handle, MEMORIES965FM. No dots. MEMORIES965FM. You can drop your comments there. The phone lines are already beeping without even them knowing what we want to talk about. But we're going to let that fly, as it were. Now, the 16th of May has been earmarked as the boy child, even though some people have asked us to call it the male child day. So whichever one is applicable to you, whichever one tickles your fancy, I'm with it. For me, it's not about sophistication, it's about communication. So let's look at the communication part of it. For those who want sophistication, kudos. So if you call it a boy child, I'm okay with it. If you refer to it as the male child, I'm still okay with it. 16th of May has been earmarked and set aside for the only day to celebrate the boy child, male child, whichever one panders to your palate. And a lot of things have, not been really looked at extensively when it involves the boy child. We're going to have a couple of people in the house today where we're going to extensively talk about some of these challenges that has to do with boy child. And I've got a man and a woman in the house. So since we're talking about a boy child, I'm going to, exercise my slant here by introducing the man first. He is personal assistant to the governor on new media. He's PR and media consultant. He refers to himself as the male right activist. Sometimes in the streets of Uyo, he's being considered as the man being fed by his wife. And right now, he was just telling me that he's planning to marry a second wife because if he has a first wife that feeds him, imagine if he has two wives that are feeding him. So he's going to suffer from obesity. I'm not talking about no other person than Dr. Kufre Katan. Doctor, it's nice to have you there.
Thank you very much, Patrick. About wife feeding me, please. I'm taking recommendations. Even the Bible says, he who is faithful in little is faithful in much. So I've been very faithful with one wife is feeding me. So that means God is in his infinite benevolence has deemed it fit to add more.
Sharon, did you hear that? He has been faithful in little, so definitely he's looking for increase. So he has one wife that's been feeding him, and now he's looking for two wives. So obesity is second now we also have a very beautiful woman in the house. If you hear her talk, and let me leave that for you to judge. She is a boy's advocate. Now that they've asked us not to say boy child, so maybe the way say male advocate, it won't even sound the way we want it to sound, and then the real meaning will be missing on that particular point.
Exactly.
Yeah, so she's a boy's advocate, she's a compere, a speaker, an event planner, a mother, very good one at that, and then she's also an entrepreneur that I know. She's not that person than Mrs. Ellen Etetem Adebayo. I like your name, Ellen Etetem Adebayo. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you so much, Patrick. It's really cool to be here. And Kufre, of course, we'll lend the voice for Kufre as well. Are you ready? Are you ready? Having two is not a bad idea, but the troubles that come with having two wives. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm even recommending, if you're interested in adding,
I should add some people to the list.
No, if you're interested in adding to your number, I can make a That was I'm joking.
I hope you have a helmet. I hope you wear your helmet to leave this place.
Definitely. I'm protected.
Alright. So I'm gonna be your pilot for today. It's nice to have you guys here. Don't worry, you're in safe hands. I know my geography very well, so we're gonna silently move along. So like I said earlier, it's an interactive session here with us here in the studio. For those of you who've got male child or boy child, I think you should be listening at this particular point. I've got my experiences as well, so maybe sharing some of them as we go along. The boy child, I'll start with you, Elliot. Boy child, male child celebration. What comes to your mind?
The boy child celebration, what comes to my mind first should be reforms. Should be for us to sit down and have these discussions. Now we're having this argument whether it's a male child, boy child, because we're very used to girl child day, the girl day, and all of that. So it has come, the time has reached where we have to gather all the girls together, all the boys, I beg your pardon, together and say, you know what, this is how it should be. We talk to the parents as well and say, parents, this is how you should train up the boys. You know, it's typical for us to have all the attention to the girls and the anyhowness to the boys. You know, I'm a mother of 2 boys, and when I had the first, I said, okay, it's time. Look, I'm lost. I'm in the dark. You know, it's not about parenting now. We need special attention on this boy. So that's how I just went around discussing and realized that there is this chasm between how a boy should be raised emotionally, mentally. The society expects so much from the boys, you know, and yet the boys are not groomed to be the so much we demand from them. Then we also have this, we have the mothers raising the boys, okay? But when it comes to parenting, we need both the father and the mother involved in raising both genders. So it's a mom tells a boy, go and sweep. The boy takes it as a chore. Mom says, go and wash plates. The boy takes it as a chore. He does not take it as, oh, it's part of living. It's a survival skill. It's part of life. Cleanliness. It's part of life to even cook your meals. Now in the house, you just say cook, only the girls should cook, you know. We just stereotype those roles. But as we are progressing, or as we have seen in life now, we have men, very good hairdressers, men. We have very good chefs, men. You understand me? So at this point, we really need to settle down and say, you know what, mommy and daddy, come together. Let's discuss.
Even the society.
Yes, even the society. Yeah, the mommy and daddies are the society, exactly. You know, when we would say, a boy is crying, you could be holding your own son crying and it's in a public place. A mom, I would let him cry. Yeah, you want to cry, cry. And not to say, you're a boy, toughen up, don't cry. You are trying to stiffen that child. You are managing his emotions. And that's an emotion. Whoever said the only emotion children should express should be only excitement?
Now, hold that thought. I'm going to come to you, Dr. Kufre. Something Ellen just said, that a boy should cry, and the father, because I want to say it like the father most times, you say, hey, you're man, you shouldn't be crying. And then she's saying like, hey, allow the boy cry. Don't you think we're making weaklings out of the boys?
Well, I don't think we're making weaklings. Like Ellen said, it's suppression. Not just, you shouldn't be crying. Don't be seen crying. A man is not supposed to cry.
Yes, but a man is not supposed to cry. Boys don't cry.
I don't think we're making
so we internalize it. I mean that toughens the man up. Sometimes, don't you think that's weakening the man?
But I think the most dominant part is making sure it's stifling the man's pressure or the man's emotions. Like Ellen said, excitements, happiness, love, not only emotions. Anger is an emotion. Tears, pain, hurt is an emotion. People express it in various ways. So telling a boy child you should not be crying, you should toughen up, you're a man should not be seen crying, no matter what you're going through, don't talk to anybody, don't allow your wife or your sister or your friends to see you crying because you have, who said that? We should allow the male children to express themselves in any way, express their emotions in any way.
I want to look at it from this perspective. Now look at it from this perspective. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Now yes, a man is expected to provide and protect. Now in protection and provision, you need to toughen up, right? Because it's not easy out there. Now when you bringing up boy child or boy children or male children who are seen as sissies in the street language, the crybabies, how do you think they are going to function in the larger society?
I think first of all we're humans, whether we're male, whether we're female, and emotions are not gender-based. Men, boy children have emotions, female children have emotions. So I've seen crybabies in quotes being successful. So it's not exactly a guarantee that if you toughened up, or if you suppress your emotions, or if you don't express your emotions as much as you should because you're a man or because you're a male child, that you succeed. So I've seen crybabies being very, very successful. I've seen people who toughen up not being successful. We see bus conductors who go out in town, vulcanizers, people with menial, very tough menial jobs, they're not successful. So if you tell a boy child, or if you're using toughening up or as a criteria for being successful, it doesn't cut it, because people that are not successful, people that are even toughening up, boy children that are toughening up are not successful. We've also seen crybabies. So this is not a guarantee. The point is, allow them express themselves the way they want. If you're raising a boy child, a girl child with all the care and the attention, and encouraging them to show emotions, in this aspect, the emotion of pain, anger, pain, cry, hurt, and all that, you should do the same to the boy child. So it should not be a suppression of stifling the emotion. It will do more harm.
Ellen,
when has the toughening
you are Ellen, you're a mother of
I'm tough, but I'm not rich.
You're a mother of two wonderful boys. Yeah. And when Dr. Kofe used the word successful,
I have a daughter, so you can imagine the irony.
Yeah. When you use the word successful, I want to look at it from a very relative perspective, because for me, success is not actually guarantee much money. It's just about you being good at what you do and you're satisfied with what you do. So it's not practically money.
In today's world, is money.
We've got a call already, so okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, get to the studio.
Please, your name and where you're calling for, and please do us a favor, just walk away from your radio set.
Okay, my name is Larry. I'm calling from the.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, I want to greet the guests in the studio. Good afternoon. And the intelligent lady there. I'd like to appreciate you. The thing is, I've listened to what you said so far, but I think I'd like to go with the anchor of the program. You see, the society we're building lately, I think we are trying to suppress patriarchy to some extent. And that's why the way the society is the way it is today. You know, you see, I'm not saying a boy should not cry, I'm not saying a man should not cry, but I can't imagine myself crying in the presence of my wife and my children. I can't imagine myself. Even though you have to cry, just go to a closet, you know, and do all your crying there, then come out as it doesn't happen. Because I think a man crying in the presence of his loved ones, I mean, it's heartbreaking. It breaks people, they don't even know, like, they have to be clean. They might not tell you, but within them, they know. Just feel this guy, crying in my presence. No, I've not my father cried before, but I know he does. But I've not seen him, you know. So I don't think we should change that narrative. You understand? That's not a press patriarchy. It's not working. Look at the society now today. You see gay, all this starts from we trying to equal men and women. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. But just stay connected so that you might hear a response to your situation. You hear the caller there. I was going to ask the same thing. You're mother of two wonderful boys, and we're still talking about the issue of allowing them show their emotion with a particular emphasis on crying publicly. Will you advise your son to cry publicly?
When you say crying publicly, what does that mean? He is hot. Do you understand? A man is robbed. He should still be tough. He's been robbed. He's been beaten, black and blue. I think, you see, like rightly said,
he's lost a loved one.
Oh, he's lost a loved one. You bottle up emotions. Hold on. For many people who have bottled up these emotions, where did they express it? Beating up their wives? Do you understand? This thing has a long-term effect. That we are saying boys should be emotional. We're not saying you should just go about crying everywhere. Anywhere you see. So even your classmate is talking to you, you are crying.
Someone screams at you, you cry.
Someone screams at you, you cry.
Really, I thought they would have another call. Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. I have to call back. It's like you told me to stay online. So I have to call
now,
back.
why I'm asking you to stay online is to hear a perspective to what you've just said. So please just stay online while we give
like listen to the show.
Listen to the show, yes. Yeah. Listen to the show. Thank you.
Like he rightly says, he didn't see his father. Goes down to models. We haven't seen this thing, or that your father or your parent did. It doesn't mean that it's right. We grew up believing it's that way. Look, if we settle down and we have men gather, this is just a fraction of. This is not even up to 10% of what we are discussing about the boy child.
Yeah,
we are only saying that, you know what, we have toughened the men enough. You see, you would see, and you see, it rubs off on the woman. Most men have cried in front of their wives and they say, why did they cry like baby? And the next day, and that's because that's how she knows it. You get it? Yeah. And the next thing, the man locks up. He is bottled up with his emotions and he's acting. There's always an action.
Yes. Now I was going to talk about that in a jiffy. When men need a place they are vulnerable, and the way a man should be vulnerable should not be in public. It should be in a closet.
Who made the rules?
And now, yeah, nobody. No, that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. Because whether you like it or not, we are in a society, and there are things we've come to see happening in the society, whether we ascribe to them or not. Sometimes we try to change them. Sometimes we just leave them the way they are. Sometimes we modify them. Now, just like Mr. Adebayo just said, even the women do not expect to see the men cry.
Yes.
So in the position of your vulnerability, which is supposed to be like, okay, with your wife or your most trusted companion, and you decide to ventilate, and then she sees you as a weakling, Dr. Kofe, how do you manage that situation? Do you still advise the man to go ahead and start crying?
Well, I think first of all,
don't forget, when we say cry, we're not just actually saying
No more, we understand.
I made a point earlier where I said, first of all, we're all humans, and every human being has a various ways of expressing emotions. There are people that actually cry if they're hurt. There are people that actually toughen up. I've seen women who I don't think I've ever seen my mom cry. I believe she's been in situations where she should cry, but for some reason
she has taken
up. That's her own way of dealing with that emotion. Now about being vulnerable, I think in today's society, being vulnerable comes at a cost. If you're vulnerable to some people, be your spouse, your children, but there's also that tendency, depending on the kind of person you're vulnerable to, that they might use it against you. That's another reason, not necessarily to be seen as a weakling. Being used against you either now or in the future, just like lawyer say, a judge saying whatever you say might be used against you in court. A lot of men have been down this road where they've opened up, become vulnerable to their spouses most times, and they always tend to suffer repercussions of that vulnerability. That's why a lot of men actually, I would rather keep it inside me, deal with it whichever way I can, instead of me to open up and bear the risk of that thing being used against me in future.
Yeah, they internalize it.
They internalize it. So I'd rather keep it inside me because I can't trust, or maybe I don't think this person might be able to handle my vulnerability. Imagine me coming and say, okay, I invested all our money, I invested $1 million, all our money in something, and here I am coming to cry back to my spouse. They'll see me, in future, she'll say, you're very reckless. And we used to have money, you spend all that money.
Because I'm going to come to you, Mr. Adebayo. Women are comfortable with a man they feel safe and secure with, not necessarily the man they love. This is not a discussion, but
financial security.
Not just financial. I mean,
the one that's secure.
Yes, the protection thing and the provision thing. Okay, now, and that comes with a whole lot of sometimes internal meticulous nature of women to say, okay, I'm safe with this guy. Now, this is just probably the last question for this series. Just using this illustration, he makes a decision as a head of the family. He messes up, mentally he needs to vent. He comes home to you, cries to you that this is what he has done.
Looking for solace.
Yes, and then you're from that orientation where a man is supposed to not to cry. Do you start seeing him as a weakling?
You may see him as a weakling. If it happens the very first time, you may see him as a weakling. But if you have the knowledge that some people have, you just realize that he's expressing himself. The same way he's happy when he gives you good news, he is sad. You understand? The bone of contention here is that it should not be done repeatedly. It shouldn't be that there are ways to act it too frequent. You understand? We're only saying just allow people express themselves. Why are you crying like a woman? Let's not have those. That's what we're saying. Just allow boys have that emotions. And you see, we are saying this because it's even easy for you to detect. I will divert when your child has been abused in your house.
Because you're going to come there. We were coming there. The next line of discussion was going to be there. But first of all, if you're just tuning in, this is Throwback Pass with PATRYK, EDEKE on MEMORIES965 FM. Remember, this program is an interactive one, so you can join the conversation at any time you deem necessary. To dial the number 0803 085 7755. Alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message on 0809 0666909. It is to your notice that this program is being streamed live on our Facebook handle, MEMORIES965FM. Drop your comments there while we take them up. Now, the issue, I was going to the issue of abuse, but I want to take it gently. I'm your pilot, so don't worry. I'm not going to go smooth. The boy child or the male child, whichever one is applicable at this point, is treated differently in the home, because I don't know why they feel the male child can take care of themselves more than the female child. So the female child is more protected in the home, or seen to be
has more
protected
attention
in the home. Now, in the issue of abuse, at that particular time, since boys are trained or made to believe that they are not supposed to be expressive, how do boy child manages the abuse they go through?
Now, you see, that's why, sorry, I had to step ahead. You're the pilot, exactly.
Go ahead.
Now, I said, when we stifle these emotions, that's why when things like that happen in our home, when they are abused, you can't detect it. Because the child can't cry to you, okay? The child cannot be vulnerable to you. Because you have actually made the child subtly to begin to toughen up at that time. Now, how can a parent detect? Your jovial, happy, exciting child suddenly becomes
cold, withdrawn, angry, aggressive. You would begin to detect. And the sad thing is that it happens in our homes, as in under your nostrils. It happens there. It happens with the house help. Some of us, like myself, I don't take underage house help. So we are talking of people who are older. You have an older house help who is supposed to be active, and you don't give that house help a time to go off and be active. So where is that active house help going to be expressing themselves, if not with your son? I've had instances, if we want to have a census right now on radio, many young men had their first encounter, abuse and sexual encounter under their roofs with their house helps, with their mother's friends, with their father's friends, with the security, you understand? Now, but when you have told him, don't cry, why are you very quiet? Why are you acting like a woman?
Why are you acting like a woman? The child is withdrawn. Okay? The child is quiet. And because of the anyhowness, I keep using that word, I don't know what we would have to create it in
we are
because
not looking at the sophistication here. We're looking at communication. So anyhowness is something we should
because
understand.
of the anyhowness that we have raised the boys, we have accepted it. You understand? With the girl,
keep going.
okay, with the girl, you're so detailed, you understand, you say, don't allow this thing to happen, you sit down with the girl, you're giving the step-by-step education, sexual education, but you just tell the boy, take care of yourself, or in quotation, if you're if it's a teenager, maybe when you grow up, you now say, don't go and pregnant somebody's child, and that's the end of sexual education.
That word, I'm gonna hold you there. When you say don't go and pregnant somebody's child, the boy child is somehow allowed to be sexually active but circumspect, with that word, because the girl child is told, hey, don't allow anybody to touch you. Once a man touches you, you're pregnant. But the boy child is, hey, don't go and impregnate somebody's child.
It's a very selfish advice, don't you get it?
Yes, so I'm coming to you, Dr. Kufre. Don't allow a man to touch you. A man touches you, you're going to pregnant. A boy child,
half-baked advice, half-baked.
A boy child, don't go get somebody pregnant and make sure you don't get yourself infected. Is that how good is that advice?
Well, it's not a good advice. I think the proper advice would have been abstinence until maybe they get the age where they can actually make this choice for themselves. I've seen a lot of lives ruined from pregnancy. But in the issue of sex education, I think the boy child always gets the short end of the stick, the girl child always gets the short end of the stick, because in the case of pregnancy, I think the lady or the girl suffers more. If I get somebody pregnant, even if I'm 10, even if I'm 15, I still go about with my life.
Go back to school,
continue with my life. Maybe if I have the money, I might fund the pregnancy for the 9 months.
Is that why the boy child is allowed to?
Yes.
Given
that's why you get it.
Yes, I think so, because for the girl child, it stopped her life momentarily takes a pause.
And the shame
the mockery, she probably wouldn't go to school anymore. I throughout my time in secondary school, I never saw any of my colleagues come to school with pregnancy. So your life pauses for at least a year, some 2 years. Whatever goals you had at that time takes the backseat. What's more important, your priority at that point is the pregnancy and self-delivery. So I think in the case of that's the sex education or the issue of pregnancy, I think the girls deserve more orientation in the issue. But I think the advice for the men should be abstinence.
Discipline.
Stay away from it. Be disciplined.
I'm going to be very particular now. And when I keep saying that you're a mother of 2 wonderful boys, I know what I'm going to. I'm going to hit it to you now. Dr. Professor said the girls get the stigma, but this is not a girl thing to start with. So if you now advises the boy as, hey, don't go get somebody pregnant, have you not given the boy the license to engage in sexual activity?
Of course.
Now, what should have been the most appropriate line of orientation?
Discipline, decency, abstinence. Wait, do you understand? If you want to threaten, in quotation, like, if you do it, do you get me? That person replaces you in this house. You understand? Because when you say go, let's say go out and multiply, because that's the summary of when you say go, don't go and give somebody's child. Don't go and make someone's child pregnant.
You can go and indulge in it, but don't get somebody pregnant too. So you have given the license.
It has to go and multiply. Just
okay,
go out.
As a mother, I'm going to say this. What are the long-term risks for boys who become sexually active at a young age?
They're exposed to STIs and STDs. When I do outreaches in schools, you know, we have to face it. At some point, the hormones for puberty start springing up, and they get attracted to both genders, you know. So, and these children are quite smart. The children are the secondary school children are smart. So, for them, the only thing they are looking at is, after all, I don't get pregnant, or I don't have HIV. You understand? HIV in particular. That's what I realize is that's auntie, mama, don't worry, we protect ourselves and all. But hold on. I hope you understand that there is something called body fluids of your saliva and sweat. And I think hepatitis, you can get it through body fluids. You understand? And you don't know. It's not written on the face that whoever you're going to meet has hepatitis. So you get it from body fluids of your saliva, you get it from body fluids of sweat. And you have it, and it stays in your body for a while. And when it becomes full blown, we now have an issue. So those are the issues, the health risks. Then how about several young men, when they become marriageable age, they now realize they're married, they don't have children, and you go and have a proper analysis, and you realize that the question is, were you infected? You say, I don't know. Meanwhile, you were infected like 15 years ago. It's not showing. Gonorrhea, all those health,
and the repercussions are now showing up.
And the repercussions are now showing up when you have put somebody's wife, somebody's daughter in your house. That's when it is showing up. You understand me? We now find out that you are shooting blanks, or whatever is there is not healthy, or whatever is there is not.
It's insufficient.
It's not insufficient. It's not smart. It's not very fast. It's not a sprinter. It's not. You understand?
I can't relate.
And these are the things that you started off at 14, 13, 15 because mommy and daddy did not tell you to do what? Stay in one place. Did not tell you to abstain. Then, like we said before we came in, you know, we don't even teach you decency or consent. We don't teach no is no, yes is yes, and that's a total society thing. It's a law thing.
The mentality is if she says no, try harder.
Because you're a man.
I want you to try harder. That's the mentality now. It doesn't. No longer means absolute no. It means it's more like an invitation to try harder. Even the women are not even helping matters, because a lady will tell a guy no, and the guy will say, okay, no problem, I'm off.
All right, we're going to hold your thought on that particular, because at this point I think you're deviating from our direction, our bearing at this point. So now let's come back home, because this is really, really important, even though it sounds funny. Boys are closer to their mothers than they are to their father, because we all have these protective instincts to protect our mothers and our sisters. But again, if the boy child is made to be free, I want to use the word be free to discuss everything with the mom, don't you think that, because I want to look at it from the societal perspective of having weaklings in the society. I use the word weakling with intention. Don't you think it makes him too feminine?
I doubt. I don't think so. It also depends on the mentality of the mother. If the mother is open, if the mother allows the child to be vulnerable, you can tell me anything. It's not necessarily about the mother. I think it's a parent thing. I don't subscribe to. I know there are always bonds between the father and the daughter, and the mom and the son, but it works better if both parents work in tandem to the emotional, physical, or societal well-being of the children. If there's that accommodation for expression of feelings, how you feel, or what's going on in your life. I can't remember my parents ever asking me, "How are you doing?" I don't mean an occasional "How are you?" That was cool. Have you eaten?
I've been sitting down.
What's going on in your life?
Yeah,
That's a routine.
I've never had
hold
anybody
that
ask me
on.
that
Hold that on. We
question.
have a call, please. Hold that on. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, please, your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Ashoko Rosen calling you from you.
Please walk away from your radio set, please, when you talk to us, and then go ahead.
I'm not with radio.
Okay. All right, go ahead, please. We're having you back.
Okay, I want to comment a little or make a little observation on the discussion.
Go ahead.
The male or female issue in the family should not be for either a mother or a father. It should be both parents. But right now, what we have in our society is not the same because of the economy that we have in our country and the way things are. So the caring now is now being handled by either the mother or the father, because one of them should be saying, "I'm busy taking care of what you eat in the house." Maybe sometimes the father don't have time, sometimes the mother don't have time. So the responsibility of taking care of the boy or girl child now will now divert to one person that is having the time to stay with them in the family. Then normally it's supposed to be both parents supposed to take care. You have maybe a 4 child in the house, and maybe you see two who love this daddy, two who love mommy, and the mommy will only maybe take care of the two that is in love with her. The one that is in love with the father, just that the father don't have time to stay with them at home. Behaving somehow, and even when the mother calls you to send a message or to talk to the boy or the girl, he will not even listen to except the father. So you see that there will be a problem in that family now because of one person does not do the responsibility that is supposed to do. So the both parents will find time and talk to that time in a time, not until when something gets worse.
Thank you.
That's
So
what I wanted to say.
all right, thank you so much for your contribution. You heard the caller talking about the unavailability of the parents in the house, and sometimes this, let's say, boy child, because we're talking about boy child right now, is being at the mercy of being weaned or trained by either the maid or probably one crèche somewhere.
The truth is,
Yes. Now the question here is this: I was thinking, in what ways can parents be sufficiently educated to give as much focus on their sons as they do to their daughters? I'm talking to you right now, Mr. Debayo, because you've got two wonderful sons.
thank you. Basically, like
I also have it on the word.
don't worry. Basically, we settle down before we go on any
Average.
anything, any business, any journey. We settle down and write. Can we settle down and have our family goals? The truth is, parents will continue to be busy. We will sublet to house helps, we will sublet to aunties, we will sublet to crutches. But we should have our personal plan or mantra in the house where we come back and say, "This is open time, tell me anything." Like you said, we say, "How was your day?" "Fine." "How was everything?" "Fine."
Have you eaten?
"Have you eaten?" "Oh." You understand? We should craft those questions in another way. Your day was fine. So what happened? How did Uncle Patrick treat you today? How did Auntie Dong treat you today? What did your teacher say in school? Be more detailed and don't wait for the yes and no answer. No monosyllables. I need you to put it in sentences. Let's have this discussion.
Even if it's in private.
Even if it's in private. Now let me give you a typical example. Yes, we'll be busy. There was a time my husband was so busy. Okay. Now I know he's listening to me, so you see, is that what happened? He was so busy, and I was basically doing all the home chores and everything. I needed him to do the home chores. But you know how it is. When you tell him, help me do the home chores, you'll now be like, what is wrong with this woman? Can't you see I'm busy and all of that? But then there was something I knew that was more of a concern. And with the children 247, I'm doing the whole chores 247. Look, we don't have to tell the children anything, the boys anything. They are watching, you understand, and they are making their own impressions and decisions. You get me? So I told him, you know what, guy, you really need to bond with your sons. Work is really stressful. Can you just pick one day and ask your colleague to just stand in for you? That one day, it could be Sunday.
You go out, take a walk.
My own was even to bath the boy. Okay. So when you are bathing, you ask the questions. Some men, yes, don't even pick their children from school. You see pickups and drop-offs. If you have a car, do it. That is when you can bond with your child.
Even if you don't have a car.
Even if you don't have a child. No, because you may not be able to ask all the questions in the car. That's why I use that. Okay, fine. But even if you don't have a car. But the point is, there are small, you have to be intentional, creating the time where you bond with your children, even with your busy schedule. That's what I mean. And at the point, my husband started enjoying it. So the person just knows that this day, you will just stand in for this guy. He would give, how was your day? When it was only one, you understand? Before he got something else that it's less stressful. So he takes up the bath in the evening. I do it in the morning. And that period, how was your day? What happened? You know, the point is you have to be intentional, no matter how busy everybody is.
And I can bet your kids are more expressive.
Okay, I was going to come to you, doctor, because like you said, these kids are growing. They are having their own impression, and whether we like it or not, their first role models are the parents. They are seeing. Now it gets to they start growing, and particularly let's get to the institution where they have to be on their own, and parents sometimes have these, I want to use the word intentionally here, discrimination in giving out monies or upkeep for the kids. They give the girl child more money than the male child, and probably they are in the same school. What is the effect of that on the male child? If there's any,
well,
there is now.
Of course, obviously there. I think it makes the male child feel negligent. It makes him feel less relevant in the house, and to make up for that irrelevance at home, the male child will try to find ways where he can have proof that he can be self-sustainable. Because if you don't value me at home, let me show you I have value. They might get indulged in something. Okay, since you're not, if you're giving my sister 1,000 and you give me 500, let me show that I can actually do more than my sister. You give me money.
Is it not
lead them to indulge in vices like gambling, Yahoo, internet fraud, online dating, and other things, just to create that relevance and create that value. Since the value, they don't feel valued enough at home, because in this case, they believe the value here is commensurate with how much people are being given. My sister is being given 1,000, I want to give me 500. So let me show I can actually make up. I can actually fill in that gap by myself. So that's more or less like a ticket to get yourself out.
I'm going to come to you, Mr.
So they'll be forced to create that value, and by trying to create that value, they might indulge in things that might have severe repercussions.
Now, if you just heard what Dr. Kufre just said, are we now conclusively saying that most of the vices that we see in the society today is as a result of the fact that the male child was neglected in that aspect?
Yes, it's the anyhowness we're talking about. Now like the typical example, the scenario you painted, you give the boy more than the girl. Then the explanation is, you're a boy, go and cope. Agreed, you have toughened the boy to cope. But how is he coping? Now the reason why you give the girl more was because you don't want her to indulge in prostitution.
That's right.
It's because you don't want her to steal. It's because you don't want that's indulging in prostitution. Okay, you don't want her to follow boys. Yes, let's put it that way.
Or follow men.
Or follow men. Yeah, you don't want her to stand on the street. That's a prostitution.
Yeah.
Now you are telling the boy.
You don't want her to do the position 2.0, who you call hookup.
Hookup,
Right.
good. And you're now telling the brother to cope. How is he going to cope? That means he's going to be a cougar. He's going to go into prostitution. He's going to steal. He's going to go into Yahoo. He's going to go into gambling. Do you understand? So we are set. See, everything is from the home.
Because the boy child and the male child shops from the same market.
Yeah.
And then you're giving the male child lower amount of money to survive. And you're giving the girl child more. And then, you're lying. Your reasons for giving the girl child more money, it's understandable. And you're asking the boy, hey, go fend for yourself.
The truth is, even if you have a reason to give the girl more because she has to get toiletries and all of that, could you buy the toiletries for her? Then you now give them the same amount of money. Or could you just explain, I'm giving her more because she cooks more. You don't like to eat, so just take some more. But that would take it. You are also encouraging sibling rivalry.
And unnecessary competition.
Unnecessary competition. Wow. My father loves this girl, my sister more than me. Yes. Wow. So these things we are doing, it has an effect. Seriously. Like I mentioned gambling, please, I need to put it in.
Go ahead.
Parents need to settle down, especially those in the higher education, when you have children in secondary school. Please, we need to settle down and talk to children about gambling. And if you have to do it, can you be a little bit more realistic? Look, sometimes in the 60s, I think it was called Cha-Cha. Then in the 70s,
it has different names.
Oh, okay, Kalu. Then 80 pools, and then in the 90s we talk of Lotto, and now we have all the bets.
It's becoming a pandemic.
Yes, you understand? It's hydra-headed. Initially, you say the children are saying they are doing it for fun. Someone passed on a few days ago after the Arsenal match. He hung himself, and people were like, "It's the love for a club." I said, "It's not true. That young man would have had a bet somewhere." You understand? And most of the reasons why people bet is to express themselves, to make more money. Why are they betting? Pressure, because childhood pressure. Now you're a tough man. You're now engaging in those kind of things.
My friends are doing it.
My friends are doing it. So we as parents need to settle down and tell them, calm down. We did it, but this is what happened to us. Most of the time we're advising, we make it look like we are sitting on a stool. We never did that. Let the children understand that we are being humane. Like when I go to school outreaches and I tell them, some of you have a crush on, and they start laughing. Because when your parents are talking about that area of education or sex education, they'll tell you, don't go and meet, or if this uncle is chasing you. So what if it's the one that is your daughter that likes somebody? That's the area of the crush. You get where I'm coming from? Yeah. So my point is, as parents, we need to be holistic and more realistic in these conversations with our daughters and our sons.
Yes. Now, when it comes to gambling, I had a very terrible experience recently. There was this young man who was supposed to be a particular job for me. The job was submitted to me, and I gave it to the young man, and I paid that young man a whopping amount of 180,000 naira, and it was penultimate to the day Arsenal was playing Aston Villa. I have to be very, very graphic here. And the young man is an astute Arsenal supporter.
Yeah.
This young boy took 150,000 naira of that money and bet on Arsenal. And Arsenal was home, and Arsenal lost the match.
Two goals to nil.
Yes, I have spent another extra 300,000 to 400,000 because of that. I have lost that relationship with the person that gave me that job because of just that thing. Yes. Now, coming back home, the question is this: what strategies can be implemented by parents to prevent young boys from engaging in gambling?
I doubt there's any guaranteed strategy. I think like I said before, it's not widespread. It's more like the air we breathe. Maybe 7 out of 10 young guys now gamble. Even the ones in primary school. In fact, gambling is even much more a bit contained. Cultism.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
I've seen 10-year-olds.
We're gonna go to cultism.
But gambling has ruined lives.
Because the issue of the gambling is, you see, with the advent of the television, the internet, the widespread access to
the internet,
to football,
everybody,
games, and everybody. So
7 out of 10 men, not just boys. I know a man that died.
We're looking at the boy
growing
into the man.
I think there was something he had rightly said from day one: discipline. When we begin to teach discipline and let them know it's not about you, stop there or something like that. Areas of our lives we have to be disciplined with. Your spending, where you put your money. You understand where I'm coming from? The fact that your friends are doing it does not mean you should do it. Now the thing is, initially they tell you it's harmless, but you put 500 naira and you made 50k. Oh boy!
What if I put 100k?
Oh boy!
Because like what happened with that boy up till today, I'm sorry. This is a true life experience. I don't want to call names here.
No, you don't have to. It happens. The thing is, it's in our faces, on our phone screens. It's there. It's in our faces, on the billboards. It's there. You understand? Except we just say, okay, the government should regularize it. Then in our family level, we know what to do. Probably when people come, you know they are underage. Don't collect from them. Anybody above 18, that's the person's business.
Well,
How do you verify?
The issue here is this. We're looking at the boy child, the male child. Now, he has been conditioned to toughen up. You said something. You said gambling might be an express, a way for such a person to express himself.
Yeah.
Judgment, decision, independency, survival, relevance. You know. So and now we're saying, okay, we all agree here that is a vice. It's addictive.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the question, like I said, I'm going to repeat it. What are the strategies that parents can adopt to, curb these excesses? Because there are excesses as well. So,
well, I think it still boils down to discipline, like you said. Discipline. If you can sit down your child or your boy children and tell, okay, these things will happen. You feel the pressure to indulge in them, but you don't have to. And then you show them why they don't have to. But like you said, you give it an example, and like an example I wanted to mention earlier. I've seen lives ruined because of gambling. The negativity or the negative part far outweighs the positive part. That phone where you stake 500 and you get 50,000, and ironically, people I'm not saying anybody who has gotten rich through gambling. Like this person made his wealth.
Okay, put your thought there. You're just joining us. This is still Black Plus with PATRYK EDEKE on Memories 96.5 FM. I've got Mrs. Ellie Enetitim Adebayo in the house here. She's a boy child advocate. She's a conqueror. She is a public speaker. She's an entrepreneur. She's just mother of two wonderful boys. She's just a mother, And then I've got Dr. Kufre here in the house, a public personal assistant to His Excellency the Governor of Kwara State on New Media. He's also a public PR consultant, as it were. We're looking at the boy child and how to, see how the boy child will get more attention. One of the downside of being a boy child is when they get to, it used to be in the tertiary institution where you are, sucked into this cultism thing, but now it has trickled down to secondary schools, it has trickled down to even those who are not school right now in the community. We have trained the boy child to be tough enough to be a man, and these cult groups gives you this feeling, or give them this feeling that this is a manly test that you need to pass through to prove that. How do we in the family, particularly you, Mrs. Adebayo, because you've got two wonderful boys, how do you particularly try to prevent your children from partaking in these activities?
Can we, when we say communicate with your children, do you know from communications you're going to find out?
That's correct.
You see, I learned this from an aunt. She allows her children throw house parties in her house. She would sponsor it. Auntie, why now? She said, my 3 boys I get, make I sit down here. And the house party, she's sitting one side. She's not disturbing them. Her mind is that, bring your friends to the house.
Let me see your kind of friends.
She said, when I see them, I go know which one we no go follow up again. Where are your parents? Oh, you're Mr. Ogunjobi's child, you understand? So let's have this communication with our children and open up. Now, I'm sure some parents will say, no, it's not my house, they will throw parties. But you see, when you throw party in your house, for example,
you learn more about your friends.
You learn more about your children's friends. You learn more about their interaction. I live in a compound where they have other children, and I allow my children to play. Do you know I come and sit down and I'm watching them to play? And thank God I did. One particular instance, I know, next thing I saw them, I said, close your eye and ride the bicycle. How? Who are you sending to hospital?
With the cost of medical bills.
I'm telling you.
But that makes you a man.
You understand? You're trying to talk. Close your eye. I say, hey, you want to do rehearsal bike man here. You understand? My point is, when we have these interactions, when we have our children come together with their own friends, you begin to know the kind of friends they keep. You will not begin to say, see that your friend that is weaving here. I've gone to go and find out some parents. It's not only when your daughter wants to marry, you go and do investigation. Even your son's friends, try to find out who their parents are, what their values are, and you understand what their values are and where they go, where they worship. You get me?
How they think.
Okay, we're running out of time at this particular point. So this question is not coming to you, Dr. Kofre. You're a man. You've been a boy. You're a man now, and then you get to tertiary institution. And I'm very particularly sure that you weather the storms of that pressure to join this several times. So how did you manage it? Because your practical experience says a lot. How did you manage it?
Well, on my own case, I look behind. We're just in my family, me and my sister. So I jokingly say sometimes, maybe if we're up to 5, 6, maybe I would have. But over the years, that was my excuse before. In 2008, I almost had an opportunity on the platter to be a part of something. Although I probably might not be alive to talk about it. But over the years, I realized there's nothing in it to gain. I can't point at one cultist or somebody that indulges in this vice that's better than me. So I don't have it. I don't see anything that motivates or that inspires me.
And they can come out and confidently say
exactly. Like, if I say I want to be like Tony Lumelo, I could point out the numerous successes heights he has attained. I say, okay, I want to be like. So if I look at the culture and say, okay, I want to be like, what has he achieved? How is he better than me? How is his life better than me? So I don't think there's anything that would inspire me. To my discredit or to my parents' discredit, I don't think they ever sat me down and said, okay, you shouldn't join cults. I saw a video on social media once where a grandmother was telling the son, go to like these things. People laughed at it, but that's something a lot of us didn't have. Yeah. That singular advice could change the boy's perspective. Say, oh, let me obey my grandmother. Let me not disappoint my grandmother. She told me not to do this. Let me not do it, because if she finds out, she'll feel disappointed. So for me, I think it was discipline. Also, initially, it was because it was just me and my sister, my parents had to. I didn't want to mess up, because if anything happens to me, or I didn't want to be the reason why people will come and attack my parents or my family or something. Like I wouldn't just because of me. But over the years, as I grew up, I realized, okay, there's absolutely nothing for me to gain by being a part of something like this.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kofre. You were smarter for your age, and you didn't want to end up the graduate. Yes, we're running out of time. So in 1 minute, as a mother and a boy child advocate, in 1 minute, how do you expect parents now to treat boy child?
Be intentional, parents. Just be intentional. Have role models. Role models could be the father. We need the men to stand up to do some things, okay? You hear, like the example of the first caller, say, I didn't see my father do. Let's also have our fathers in the house, clean up the house, even if it's once a day, so that you understand that that's what it's supposed to be. Let's have the father stir up conversations, okay? Good. So for the boy child, please just teach them to be kind and compassionate, be emotional, communicate with them, let them learn boundaries, learn consent. Then it's okay to cook. You understand? Cooking is a survival skill.
Of course, it's not that.
Learn to clean. It's a survival skill. Okay, and please don't feel like you're more superior than a woman. I've seen cases where people stepped aside because a woman was ahead. Well, which shouldn't be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Mrs. Adebayo. Thank you so much, Dr. Carter. It's been wonderful having you guys in the studio. We could talk about this thing for like forever.
Yeah.
I will never really exhaust all the content. It's been wonderful. Remember, this is still back with PATRYK EDEKE on Memories 965 FM. It's a wrap from us here until we come your way again next Tuesday with another exciting episode of PATRYK EDEKE. My name is PATRYK EDEKE. It's now to the lovely Dr. Sarah Mando.
Thank you very much, Mr. PATRYK. This conversation was definitely interesting and insightful. Thank you for that. We've been hitting the nail on the head on the male child since last week, and it cannot be overemphasized, because I keep saying it, that we spend a lot of our time on the female children and we tend to neglect the male children. So it's about time.
So you have been carpentering the male child since years ago.
Oh my. All right, thank you very much for listening to Backpass with PATRYK EDEKE. We'll come your way again next week, Tuesday. But till then, enjoy the rest of your week. My name is Sharon Mando. Coming up at midday is the global news as usual.
Thank you. Thank you.